Oh, breaking news.
In game real time, it's hard to make that bang bang call 100%. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Saturday Sliders, your weekly dive into all things baseball. This week, we are revisiting our preseason predictions, who's living up to the hype and who's falling flat. Plus, as always, we've got our Giants and our Blue Jays updates locked and loaded. I'm Almar, and as always, I'm joined by my co host Armando. Let's talk baseball.
Well, let's go around the bases with this week's updates.
Around the bases.
Omar, we're in the dog days of summer baseball, and we got a lot of good baseball playing right now. But I want to. There's a lot of teams not getting enough attention, so I want to know what is the biggest storyline: the Dodgers losing streak or struggles, or the respective division leaders like the the Blue Jays, who are 4 games ahead of the Yankees. Mets have a half a game ahead of the Phillies, and the Brewers have taken sole possession of first place with a game ahead of the Cubs. What is the biggest storyline here?
All right, let's talk biggest surprise of the season. And no, I'm not gonna lead with the Dodgers just yet. But let's be real, Armando. LA struggling like this, that's something we're definitely not used to. I mean, with how stacked that roster is, it's weird seeing them hit any kind of bump. But it's a long season. We all know that even juggernauts stumble. But for me, the Orioles take the crown, and not in a good way, Armando. Baltimore is having an absolute clown show of a season, and it's both hilarious and honestly a little sad. This is a team that won 100 games not too long ago, packed with one of the youngest and most electric lineups in baseball, and they've completely crushed and burned. And what's crazy, we call this their front office ghosted the off season. No help for the rotation, no veteran bats,
Yeah.
no bullpen upgrades. They basically said the kids got it. So spoiler alert, they did it. It's a masterclass in how to waste a golden window. And look, I'm saying this is as someone from a divisional rival. I should be thrilled because the Jays are in first place in the AL East, but it's just head scratching. Do better, Orioles. Do better. That's just my take for this season.
Yeah, I think that for me is the biggest storyline. Of course, is the Dodgers because they're the face of the franchise. Not only they're the face of the franchise, but they have like 3 players and a future Hall of Fame who are still the face of the franchise, like with Batson and Freeman and Otami. They're just the face of the franchise. So, of course, they're going to be talking about the Dodgers, right? So that is the biggest storyline. Um, but I think everybody still expect the Dodgers to be that team when it comes to October. So they're just treating them or giving them the pass as like, oh, they'll be fine. Like this is just a preseason for them, right? So they'll be fine comes the playoff time. But I think they should be concerned. I think the Dodgers and their fans, or even Major League Baseball as a whole, should be concerned because the Dodgers are ranking 23 and pitching ERA right now as a staff. Like that is four 4.28. That is the biggest headline at this point. But we should be talking about the Blue Jays. They're just not a surprising team. They're a good team playing good baseball. We should be talking about the Brewers, but instead, Major League Baseball gives us this rankings weekly, and they still have the Dodgers, even that they have lost. Um, 11 of the last. They're 4 wins in the last 15 games, but they still have them as the favorite to win the World Series. They still have them a top 5 team in their rankings, weekly rankings. So
Yeah, I need to talk about this because the struggles of the lineup with the Dodgers. with Mookie Betts struggling towards this season, is it time for the Dodgers to rest him? Because I think playing in the shortstop position is taking a toll on him. And we mentioned this with the Dodgers a few weeks ago and last week that their bullpen is horrendous this year, even with Tanner Scott being there. And I wasn't sure if Tanner Scott got injured last week and how bad is it, but it's just piling up for the Dodgers, and they should be concerned in
Yeah,
LA
like,
Nation.
and what we just everybody expects them to be there, but what if they don't, right? So like that's just crazy to think. But they are getting some help back. Blake Snell's he's been throwing in the minors, and maybe that's the help that they need, right? So because right now, let's face it, Kershaw is the best pitcher that they have, right? So so
And the only silver lining here with the Dodgers is they're five games ahead of San Diego Padres. Uh, they can. I know if 5 games is not a lot, but it's still a gap there. If they can take the AL West crown and make the playoffs, they can still make noise in the playoffs. But yeah,
yeah,
it's a bit concerning, like you said.
yeah, for sure. All right, let's go for our second topic of the week. On Tuesday night, I'm not sure if you saw this game, but the Philly against the Boston Red Sox. Philly wins the game on the 10th inning with catcher's interference by Boston's catcher. Bases loaded, by bottom of the 10th. How do you feel first of all about this situation?
I've seen a lot of wild endings in baseball. I'm sure you have seen also, but that one between the Red Sox and the Phillies, I had to tweet it. I've seen it all now. A walk off catcher's interference that just can't happen. I get it. Catching is one of the toughest jobs in the game. The pressure, the pitch framing, the game calling, it's intense, especially in a walk off situation. But still, you've got to keep your cool. I'm not a catcher, Armando, but reaching out too early, trying to get ahead of that swing, that's tough pill to swallow. You hate to see a game, especially one that tight and like that. Tough break for the Red Sox there.
I think first of all, I don't even like this catcher interference. I hate it when the batter gets a free walk because they got to catcher's interference, or the bat or whatever, like it just touches the little glove by a little sliver, right? And it's just like, oh, free walk, right? It's like, oh man, I hate it, but this is just awful to end the game. I don't think no one can feel good, not the Phillies, because it's kind of like, oh man, we won, we only won the game because of this this rule. The fans who were at the game in Boston, just like this has to be awful all around. So it's like, to me, it's like, oh, don't even give me a win.
but I'm sure the Phillies would take that.
Oh yeah, at the end of the season, I was like, oh, right. But this just has to be awful, right? But it has happened before. The last time it happened is in 1971. So that's pretty crazy itself. That
Yeah, it's been a while. Like I said,
yeah,
I've seen it all now.
exactly right. So, anyways, for our final segment of the around the bases, um, we got the Hall of Fame weekend. Two notable players, Sebastian and Ichiro Suki, are being inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame. W- Give me your quick thoughts on this.
What a weekend for baseball, Armando. Huge congratulations to all the inductees. They'll now forever be remembered and immortalized in Cooperstown.
Yeah.
We've both had the privilege of watching Ichiro, CC Sabathia, and Billy Wagner dominate throughout their
Yes.
careers. Billy Wagner, man, what a journey. He had to wait a long time to get this hall call. So you just know his speech this Sunday is going to be emotional. Sisi Sabathia was a true workhorse, an ace in Cleveland, and a leader with the Yankees down the stretch of his career. And what can we say about Ichiro? He lit up Japan, came to the big leagues, and didn't miss a beat. One of the greatest hitters and most exciting players we have ever seen. So it's an exciting weekend for the game. Hats off to the newest legends of the Hall.
Yeah, I agree with you. To me, what stands out to me, like I watched Ichiro's whole career, and it was a privilege to watch his career, right? So I remember going to one of the final games of the season when Ichiro broke the hits in a single season. I was watching. I was in Oakland Coliseum watching the A's versus the Rangers, right? Like with A Rod, right? So the crazy thing is that they announced on the jumbotron saying that Ichiro has surpassed the hit in a season, and everybody stood up and gave him a standing ovation. And it was like the A's and Rangers playing, but they were just giving him his props, his flowers, because it's not. That's just amazing to have over 260 hits in a season. So to me, that always stands out to me. That's the memory I have of Ichiro. That baseball fans were in a different stadium, different state, were giving him a standing ovation. So that's to me that stands out to me.
Yeah, when we are watching Ichiro play against our team, it's infuriating. It's maddening because when he hits it towards the shortstop, if the shortstop moves to the right side quite a bit, it's a base hit there. So many infield singles with Ichiro. He's phenomenal. Not only in the batting lineup, but also he's a Gold Glover in the right field. So yeah, like you said, Ichiro is one of, if not the greatest hitters of baseball.
Right. So, and of course, Sissy Sebastian, what stands out to me, of course, his dominant performance in the when he won the World Series, when the Yankees and with Cleveland, it was just amazing. But to me, the biggest, because we're just around the trade deadline when he got traded to the Brewers, and when the Brewers made a push in the playoffs, and he started on 3 day rest. Like, he was a workhorse in that postseason for the Brewers, and that's amazing. That's a workhorse. They don't make them the way they used to. Um, so props to CC, and who knows? We might be talking about the Brewers more later. So.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was, I was, I was gonna say that with CC when he got traded to the Brewers, he was dominant there. We
Oh
were
man.
like when I was watching the Brewers and CC, I was like, man, they could win the whole thing, but unlucky they weren't able to. But like you said, on 3 days rest, he's still dominant. Now we won't see that anymore in this
No,
day and
I think he
age.
started like 7 games, like like within each time. Like there was a 3 day rest. Like he was a horse. There was no like 5 day race, 6 day rest for him. Like he wanted the ball, and the Brewers were counting him because not even they were not even chasing the division. They were chasing a wild card spot. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, the Brewers were running him to the ground.
I think the only sad thing is they didn't. He was just that's what a rental is because they had really great 3 months with them or whatever it was, and then he signed a contract with the Yankees shortly after that.
Yeah, yeah, I hated that when he signed with the Yankees. So.
Yeah. Anyways, that is it for around the bases. But I want to touch one more thing. Oh, it's a couple of two things. We have our first big name uh, deadline deal with Mariners landing Josh Naylor, first baseman from the Arizona Diamondbacks. What thoughts on this trade?
Well, we know that the Mariners. We were talking about this. They are going to land a big bat here. I was looking at Eugenio Suarez. I wasn't even
Yeah,
looking at Josh Naylor, but they need like a corner bat. So this answers one of their biggest needs because they have
Yeah,
to
I
at
think
least
so.
protect Kyle Raleigh here. And yeah, Josh Naylor coming back to the AL,
Yeah,
it's a big boost for the Mariners.
I thought ever since our last episode because everybody has Suarez to the Yankees, but he was a possibility returning to the Mariners. So I was expecting the Mariners and Diamondbacks to make a trade, but I wasn't expecting this one. So, but good for the Mariners because they need the help, like we said, like you mentioned. So, but there's plenty of more trades, hopefully. But we're definitely be covering them here on Saturday Sliders. Another thing, we hit some couple of milestones this yesterday and today. Bryce Harper hit his 350 career home run, and Mike Trout, our boy, he hit a home run today, 396. He is 4 home runs away from 400 for the 400 club. Thoughts on these milestones?
Yeah, congratulations to first of all Bryce Harper for hitting 350 bombs. It's an exclusive milestone here. There's not much players that can reach even 300 homers here. So congratulations to Bryce Harper. But our big we have talked in length with Mike Trout that what could have been if he's always healthy, right? He could have hit like 800 home runs now. So but he has been always injured. But good to see Mike Trout inching away towards 400, and hopefully we can see him hit 500 home runs soon.
Yeah, agree with you. So, well, that is it for Around the Bases. If you like this content, please subscribe, follow, and like. It will help our channel grow. Well, Omar, we have had the All Star. We have the first half complete. The first half of the season is completely in the books. Let's talk about our first half predictions from the beginning of the season, and let's talk about the second half preview. What is our expectations? What are we looking for?
Okay, let me start here with our takes from our preseason. If you want to hear us, you want to hear us at our most confident and maybe our most delusional, go check out our preseason picks on Saturday Sliders episodes 27 and 28, free on YouTube and Spotify. Prepare to be impressed and mildly disappointed at the same
Well,
time.
maybe just
So
skip those 2 episodes and go somewhere else.
yeah, like Armando said, give it a quick listen. If you agree, just give us a thumbs up. If you don't,
just
just flip the
just
channel, right?
remember, it's the beginning of the season. It's spring training.
Yeah, it's a preseason take that we had. So okay, my biggest win, I gotta say, the Astros. Let's be honest, Armando. Outside of Houston, no one had them winning the AL West this year. But I kept the faith. People forget they lost George Springer, then Correa, and now they lost Tucker. Cal Tucker got traded and Bregman walked. Doesn't matter. These dudes could field a competitive team with the cardboard cutouts and still win 90 games. So that's my biggest win of that preseason take. Now for my big and giant L, the Guardians. Armando, they face planted hard after making a deep run last year. We were joking that they were flying under the radar again. Turns out they just completely forgot how to fly. And lastly, sorry Corbin Burns, we might be cursed. We hyped him up for the Cy Young, and now he's out with Tommy John. We're not saying it's our fault. I'm not saying it's my fault, but but maybe we need to start issuing apologies with every pitching prediction we make, Armando. So those are my takes from the preseason on where we stand right now. So how about you, Armando?
Well, to me, I think the big it's easy to say um, Baltimore because I had them winning, I had them going deep, but that is it makes sense why they're on the bottom. They turn the organization turned a veteran team, a mix and young and veteran players, and they just handed the keys to the young players, right? So and too many players walked away in the last two seasons. Baltimore, um, last year they had 236 home runs. They led the league in home runs. Now they're only 117, and their biggest and their home run hitter has 14 home runs in the season. So that's a big drop off. And the year before that, they had 186 home runs. So that is a big drop off on why they're in last place in their division or why they're in the bottom. So, but I think the biggest disappointment for me is Atlanta Braves. I was completely wrong on this. Um, And I did say like they were going to struggle to the beginning of the season, but they were going to get better as the season go along, especially when their players got back. Spencer, especially their pitcher, Acuna's coming back, uh, but they just have not. I think this team, a veteran team, that has just regressed. So to me, Atlanta is the biggest disappointment to me. Um, the pitching is not there, the bullpen is not there, and the offense. They're subpar, right? Like Matt Olsen has started the season very slow, but he has turned it up. Um, he's hitting Matt Olsen's numbers, but still not what you expected when they signed Profart um, to offseason contract, right? Like he got rewarded, but then he got suspended for 60 games or whatever it was, right? So to me, that is the biggest disappointment is Atlanta. But biggest win I have to say is the Milwaukee Brewers, right? Like
There
I was big
he
on them
is.
last year. I was I was big on them last season, and I was big on them this season. I didn't. Yes, the veteran players left, but guess what? Like, yeah, Willie Adames left, and uh, their pitching Burns left as well. So there was like who's gonna fill up their young talent? This team has been building talent. They have a great farm system, and we're not even talking about how great they are actually. There are since May 12th. There are I believe they're 39 and 12. Since that is just not good, that is great baseball. They're playing great baseball, and they have won 11 out of the last 13 games. That is great baseball, and they're in a very competitive race with the Cubs. They're they're the best record in the National League, and they made a comment earlier in one of the pitchers said like they're not surprised that they're in first place. They're not surprised that they have um that they're in first place, because this is a fun team and they're having fun. Um, so that is my biggest win of the predictions.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't see that coming from the Brewers, but props to you for picking them to win the LL Central. And the Chicago Cubs keep winning, but it it doesn't show on the standings because Milwaukee Brewers has been winning as well. So yeah, Brewers, like you said, they lost Corbin Burns last year, and then they traded Devin Williams, their closer, and they lost Adames this year. So props to them for making this
uh,
incredible run actually.
and I guess I do have to take another L because my MVP was Bobby Bobby Jr. from the Royals. uh, I really thought that Kansas City was going to be. They just regress. I thought they were going to be taking a leap. I thought Bobby Jr. Was going to be taking another leap, for a great talent. But just in general, the whole team has regressed. So I did not see that coming. So
Yeah, both of us did see that because we had Royals winning the AL
yes,
Central here. Sorry, Tigers.
yeah, best record in the league of Tigers, right? So yeah, I didn't think. I just thought that after a long Judge is having an MVP season, but I didn't think I thought he was going to be regressing a little bit just because of how much baseball he played over the last couple of seasons, deep playoff runs, World Series appearance, hitting 60 home runs. Right, I thought he was going to get tired and maybe get hit like 49, 50 home runs, but he's on pace to still hit 40, 60 home runs. So that's and he's having a better, obviously a better um, offense production in general. He's having a better season, career, right? Career numbers, right? So he's going to be in the race for MVP, right? So, but anyways, Bobby, he's still great talent, and we'll see if they surround him with talent.
Yeah, for sure. It's still a progress there with the Royals, but we thought they're gonna move up this year, but apparently not. So that's a
Yeah.
complete miss again for us.
Yep.
Welcome, Pablo Lopez.
It happens to the best of us, right? Anyways, what are you looking forward to the second half of the season? Give me your takes.
Okay, the second half of the season, it'll be interesting, especially with the American League wild card here. They'll only be separated by 2 games. So New York Yankees, the Mariners, the Boston Red Sox, and even with the Rangers and the Tampa Bay Rays, it's gonna be tight, tight towards the end here. And for my take, with how much the Blue Jays have seen this New York Yankees. I'm really worried about this Yankees team, not with their lineup, but their ability to do basic fundamental things like fielding. The reason why they lost the previous series with the Blue Jays 2-1 is on the third game they booted for 4 balls against the Blue Jays, not including the lost ball in the pop up with Bellinger. So for and that one, if you can field your the baseball properly, then it's gonna be tough for them to even win ball games, even with a good rotation like they have.
Right. Um, no, you're right, right. So the wild card spots, it's very competitive, and the division. You might you might say everybody was talking about the National League West being the best division in baseball, but you might make a case that American League East has the best division in baseball right now, with 4 teams in the hunt for the playoff race. That is impressive. Not just 3 teams, 4 teams in the American League East, all within reach of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's why when we're talking about the Blue Jays, they can't really like relax right now because like you like I said with the Dodgers, every team will hit bumps and bruises along the way, and you just have to make sure that when you're on a great run like the Blue Jays have, you just have to keep winning, winning, winning. Because when you hit that bump, you have
Yeah,
that
you're
gap, right?
and the Blue Jays right now. They're kind of reminding me of the 2021 Giants, where not everyone expected them to be in first, right? Being the first team to 60, 70, 90, 100 games, right? They were the first team. No one really expected them to be, but but it made everybody better, right? 107 wins by the Giants, and the Dodgers had 106 games in the season. You talk about neck and neck all season, right? So this is what it's reminding me right now, that you cannot you can release the gas pedal. You cannot have a slump. You have to be playing your best game, because those teams behind you, they're chasing you. They're after you.
Yeah, and yeah, so luckily, yeah, the Blue Jays are still winning right now, and
Yeah.
hopefully continues to win. But yeah, those wild card
Yep.
teams in the
You have
AL,
a target
it's
on your
gonna be
back,
tight.
right? So
What's that?
you have a target on the back, right?
Yeah.
So that's really
Yes.
great.
Yeah.
So perfect. Well, for me, what I'm looking for in the second half of the season, it's actually the Crown race and the American League pitching. with Scooble and Corrette, Gary Corrette from Boston. Obviously, last year he was the front. Scuba was he was dominant. He was the obviously favorite, but um, he Boston's pitcher. He's making a case, right? He's making a case for his dethroning Scuba from the Triple Crown and Cy Young Award. So that race right there. I'm looking forward to it. Obviously, he was your prediction for Cy Young Award. Um, he was my prediction. Scuba was my prediction for the American League Cy Young Award. So that's the race that I'm looking for.
Yeah, great to see here, Armando. We did something correct. Yeah, and yeah, and like I said, we're not the reason that some of the pitchers are cursed with our picks, because Garrett Crochet and Tariq Skubal are really grinding out this season. Only one strikeout separating them right now, 165 and 164 strikeouts for this season, and like you said, earned run average 2.19
Yeah,
each. So same ERA for
dominant.
both.
Yeah.
So it's gonna come down to the
Oh
last
yeah.
pitch,
So I love it, man. So
and
I love it.
both are in the both teams are in the running for the playoffs. So they won't rest this pitchers up
Yeah,
until like
exactly.
later in the season. So it'll be great for us to watch on who's gonna take the Cy Young award.
Yeah. Uh, another things that I'm looking for is actually the trade deadline. I'm looking forward to it because I'm looking at teams that are they really gonna just break it up like the Guardians, right? They would expect us to be sellers, right? The Rangers sellers when they have so much talent. Um, the Diamondbacks, like right, like you're thinking about like they're just gonna be trading like oh let's just rebuild. Like to me, it's just like you have talent. You should you just write it out because the Diamondbacks, um, yes, they have a lot of decisions to make, but still, they're only 6 games behind the wild card spot. They're actually playing better baseball. Yes, you have to leapfrog 6 teams ahead of you, but they are playing better baseball. They're hitting the ball. Obviously, yes, you can get a lot of return and get prospects, but to me, I just can't believe that they would just start over. To me, like that's just crazy. Like just write it out. That's what. Same thing like the Cleveland Guardians. Like they're a good team. That's just injuries and just a lot of injuries have hurt these teams, right? Like the Rangers, Diamondbacks, Cleveland, right? Like so, like to me, is like why were organization just give up so easily and just have a rebuild on the fly or just a rebuild period, right? So, and I know a lot of the times it's just money, payroll cuts and stuff, but to me, it's like I said last year, and I'm gonna say it again. Sometimes the best trades they you make is the trades that you don't make, right? So to me, I it would be great if they can just write it out.
But that'll be just boring trade deadline. Then. Get
Yeah,
out of here! Get
but it
out
will
of
be great for the following season. That's what I'm trying to say. Have a chance
here!
to, yes, you can get prospects and call young players, but like those veteran players can set you up for success for the next 2 seasons. So why do that? So
So with that mentality, Armando, let me ask you with this question, because it just came out this today and probably yesterday that the San Diego Padres are listening to offers for
yeah,
Dylan Cease, and I think John Morosi said they later today that they might be looking to for a package of uh prospects for Dylan Cease and flipping those prospects to get like outfielders. So what do you think of that then?
to me it's nuts. I heard that too when I saw that this morning of reports that teams are calling. It's like, well, I don't even know. I understand why. If you're the Diamondbacks, you're in the you're in the thick of the wild card races, and you're only 5 games from the division. I mean, from the lead. Why would you do that, right? So to me, it makes no sense, especially when um, you have a talented team that pretty much gave the Dodgers the only competition they had in the playoff runs, right, was the San Diego Padres. So why would you do that? So to me, it makes no sense, right? So I get it for they're just prospects. That's where they are, right? They're just prospects, and a lot of times those prospects don't turn out. Um, but once again, like they have loaded outfielders. Why do you need another one? So,
Yeah, yeah,
so
yeah.
that's my
I
opinion. I've also heard of their second baseman. What's his name?
Arise.
Yeah, Reyes. Yeah, I heard he's also like they were actually shopping him. I was like, why? He's a great. He gets on base for the Tatis and yeah, he gets on base for those guys, the big backs, and like, why would you do that? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I
So
think that's
yeah.
silly. I think that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. I think what last I heard is the Tampa Bay Rays and the Blue Jays are looking at Dylan Cease. So we'll see what kind of package the San
Mhm.
Diego Padres can get, and if it actually makes sense. We'll review that on
Yeah,
our next week's episode,
but
right?
you know what? The Padres do have a smart organization, smart um, baseball minds because they have made a lot of trades and flipping. They have flipped a lot of those prospects to get Soto, to get Dylan Cease, right? They have made a lot of trades in recent years. Yeah. Um, so they have a great minor system, and they have a great baseball mind. So it wouldn't surprise me, but to me, like, just go for another team that no, you're going for it. You're not trading away. And who are you going to replace Dylan Cease with? That's a
Yeah,
question that I
from
have. Like, who are you going to replace him with?
Yeah, from what I heard from John Morosi, like you said, so basically going to trade dealers for prospects and then flip that to see if they could get an outfielder or they get Sandy Alcantara from the
Oh,
Marlins. So that was John Morosi's take on this one. But we'll see how it goes, right? If the Padres can even get the prospects that they want for Dylan
yeah.
because Dylan is a free agent after the season, so he's a complete rental.
Yeah, but that makes no sense. I understand. Like, I think everybody's rumor with Sandy, right? So from the Marlins, right? So, but I think it's like the goal is to win a World Series, right? So why get another renter? Just use Dylan Cease for the rest of the season, right? So you are going
Yeah,
somewhere. Like everyone expects the Padres to be in the world and in the playoffs, at least in the wild card. So like, why do this move?
yeah,
So,
yeah, because the Padres last season versus the Dodgers, they made the Dodgers work in the playoffs.
oh
So
yeah,
yeah,
so
they have the talent to do it. So
so
yeah, but like I said, like I don't want a boring trade deadline. So yeah, if the Padres wants to trade their players, I'm down for it.
you're trying to sound you're starting to sound like fantasy football trade deadline. You want at least someone to make a trade. Perfect. Well, that is it for our second half preview and a first half review of the season. Let's get into our Giants and Blue Jays update.
Giants, Blue Jays.
All right, so Omar, the Blue Jays got the best of the Giants. What do you think of that series?
Well, let's start with Verlander. He didn't look
Oh
good.
man.
And you got shut out. So,
Oh man, I got.
but the thing is, like you said, the Blue Jays are for real. They're winning. So let's talk about this. You ran the Giants run Jesse Verlander, um,
Logan Webb.
Logan Webb, and then Mr. Tight Pants, Robbie Ray, and they won all three. And the Yankees ran Rodon and Max Fried, and they won those two. So even with your aces, I think the Jays are just finding ways to keep
Yeah.
winning. So props to the Jays actually. But the bigger question is your Giants not really scoring a lot of runs because your pitching is right there, and we've talked about this in length, right? So I think that's the bigger question. And I like what I saw with Devers playing first base now. I think his bats is rejuvenated with him playing on the field. So I hope that helps too.
Yeah, well, let's not get too ahead. I'll touch on that.
But you
This
still
is
wasn't.
not, yeah. Well, I want to touch on a couple of things, Giants updates. So obviously the first thing that it's the Giants struggles. The second thing, Birdsong being option to AAA, and and the positive of this negativity, right? So let's see. So this is with the Giants struggle. So this is not the way they wanted to start the second half of the season after the All Star week. It's not the way they wanted it because they lost 2 out of 3 against the Dodgers right before the All Star break, and then they start on the season second half on the road in Toronto, and they just got humiliated. That is some of the worst baseball from the Giants, and it didn't get like Ramos made. Not only did he made errors in Toronto, but he continued us because they lost the first game against Atlanta, so they lost 6 in a row, and those 6 games was awful, like god awful, like so many errors, and everybody was being questioned. They were just like, "Man, what do you do with Bob Myers?" Like because he has completely lost this team. You saw them. Patrick Bailey, the catcher, he was rolling his eyes on Camilo de Ball because he came into pitch on the loss against the Atlanta because he didn't pitch those games against Toronto. They were not even close. Or our our closers or top relievers, they didn't even pitch the game, right? So they needed them to pitch, and you saw the body language. No one, no one wanted to be there, and you saw like Patrick Bailey like shaking his head on Duvall, like right, like a premier closer in the league. So it was not a good sight, and they saw so many errors. So like obviously you saw that like some of the pop ups that they was like, oh, you got it, and it just drops in front of you, and no one got it. So it was awful, but they have bounced back. They won 2 out of 3 against Atlanta. Much needed serious victory. Um, yeah, but so I think one of the biggest things of even in the struggles in this road trip is that we have saw our top players Chapman, Willie Adames, and Devers. They are hot right now. They're seeing the ball great, and Devers he had his first multi-game home run, 4 RBI game. Um, and I don't know if you saw the first home run that he hit on Wednesday. It was
He
just
golfed that. He golfed
yeah,
that. Right?
Vlad Guerrero style, right? Senior right
Yeah,
style,
the
just
Vlad
hitting out the
Senior.
dirt, right? It's Vlad, yeah, it's senior, Vlad is senior, like just like that's what reminded me, like, because Vlad he hit a lot of home runs that way. Just like how do you hit a home run, right? So he just completely just upper body just golf it and hits a home run. So it's like holy cow. So, but I think the positive that comes out is that your 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 leaders are stepping up and they're carrying this team. So it's really great to see Adames just Adames is seeing the ball. He had a multiple game home run. He had a couple home runs against the Blue Jays, right? So, but then he follow up the following game with 4 walks. And like he's just seeing the ball really great, and it's really great. And you touch about the Devers playing first base. He made his season debut in Atlanta. I told you I'm shocked that he's playing, but guess what? It freed him up. He has been playing. He's been playing both ways, defense and offense, all his career, and they just relaxed in him. And he followed by playing on the. He had a great game when he started against when he started at first base, and then he followed up the following game with his best game as a Giant. So it did good for him to play first base. So that is great to see.
Yeah, yeah, I hate to see Birdsong struggle. But hopefully, some minor league stints can do him some good here. I've seen when you were when the Giants got swept. Sorry to laugh at your
Yeah,
your Giants, but
that's all
when the
right. Yeah.
Giants, but when the Giants got swept in Toronto and lost the first game in Atlanta, people were saying,
Oh yeah.
what would Buster Posey do? Do they trade away some of their players? And I know you've talked about this, that Giants doesn't rebuild, but what if you lost that series against the
Oh yeah.
Braves? So like, good thing that you won that series and we can just like move on for now. But oh man.
Yeah, we're just a game and a half away from the third wild card spot, and so that's good. The only good thing, another positive thing with this losing streak or this struggles is that the Dodgers have been playing so bad. We're still only 5 games behind them, so or five and a half games. So like that's great, right? The division's still within reach.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's great. That yeah, the Dodgers is not running away with the division like you said, and yeah, you can still catch the Dodgers and even catch some of the wild cards. So it's great
yeah.
for the
So
Giants to
well,
stay.
there's still room, right? So we're still a week away from the trade deadline, so we'll see what the Giants do. Especially that's the thing. We keep seeing this team like those 2 games against the Atlanta. Like we see the Giants uh, play great baseball. We see a preview how great they can be, flashes how great they can be, but then they just fall apart so quick, right? So it's been inconsistent. So they're still on pace for 88, 89 wins in the seasons. That is last year. That was the playoff mark, right? So we'll see if they can stick to that pace, right? So because if they win 89 games, 90 games, there will be that means that there will at least be a guaranteed playoff uh, one of the wild card spots, right? So, and they have 7 games still against the Padres, so that's gonna make uh, that can switch, right? So for any of those teams, right? So anyway, there is some positive. I'll talk on Bergson. I'm surprised that he was still on the roster after the All Star break. I thought he was going to be either in the pen or be an option early. They skipped his start, 2 starts, so he had 2 weeks off to work on his mechanics, to get his his head mind straight, right? Whatever issues he's going through, he's a young pitcher, right? But he made his first start after the All Star, which I was surprised against Atlanta. He did not record one out on the bottom of the first. 3 straight walks, not even close. So he got optioned after that game. So, but I I think they made a mistake. I think the Giants made a mistake by starting him. I think he hasn't looked good in over a month, and he's still standing out there. So I do question them on that decision to put him out there, especially when with Roop, our other young pitcher who's who's playing great baseball. He attacks the zone. He attacks batters. I think if you have a young pitcher, Roop is the one that you need to go. You need to pay more attention right now because Birdsong is just not really. Um, his head is not there, and his body language is not there. So I think he should have been options to AAA a lot sooner and not make that start. And same thing, Bert's with Justin Verlander. He got his first win. That's great. But before that first game in Toronto, he didn't make it to the third inning, right? So with I've been talking about the back end of the rotation, we cannot lose to lose games or give up games with those two starters. Um, it should be done something sooner because they gave up, like I said, a month ago, or what, not month and a half ago, month and a half, they were in tie for first place with the Dodgers. So a lot of things have gone wrong.
Yeah, with the trade deadline here coming up this week. Oh, like next week. I mean,
Yeah,
your biggest needs, what I see from, because we were closely watching these
yeah,
Giants and Jays, so I think left field, you need an upgrade with Ramos there. He completely botched that play there against Toronto. And then, like I said, you have the two best pitchers right now in the game with Webb and um Robbie Ray, but in a wild card series like 3 games, maybe you can win both with the Ray and Webb, but if you go to the third game, who is going to be your pitcher there? So I think you have to get a starting pitcher that can pitch
right.
in the big games. So I think those are the two biggest needs for the Giants, in my opinion.
Yeah.
What can you say about that?
What I think the way they had a bounce back against Atlanta, a must needed bounce back, and they responded very well after 6 bad games. Uh, Ramos, you talked about it. He was under fire for the series against Toronto and the first game against Atlanta. He was under fire, so he he got humiliated, and it was good for him. He got humble. The game will humble you, right? So he responded the last 2 games by running the bases well, reading the ball well, a couple doubling catches, and so he responded well. So that's really great. I think if we're gonna have an upgrade in the outfield, it has to be right field. Uh, I love uh, Jazz, but I think he's a great defensive player, but he offensively, like we just need help. And I think if someone goes, it's probably going to be him. Um, and they probably make if they trade for an outfielder. But I think the series against the Mets will say a lot if they're going to be buyers or sellers. Because against the Mets, like you're chasing them. They're the one of the wild card teams or division, right? So like if they lose that series, like they're just gonna be more in a big hole. So I just don't see that happening. If they lose, I just don't see them being buyers, in my opinion. And they shouldn't. And maybe they should just. I talked about some teams not being making a move. Maybe they just write it out with the team. Let's see if they get hot or right. So why trade away prospects if you're not gonna make the playoffs? So my sense about the trade deadline for the Giants.
So either be buyers or just stand pat, you mean?
Yeah, yeah, stand by it. So and let's see because I wouldn't want to give up if this team is playing bad like the way they have been. Like why um, give up our prospects, right? So that's why I feel I wouldn't want to let go any prospects. Um, but like it's gonna
So
be against the Mets. I think it's gonna say a lot, right? So and I say that like um, against Atlanta and the Mets, it's gonna say a lot how the Giants end up. So, but what
Yeah, I hate
once
to
again,
I hate to
they keep making flashes about how good they can be, but they just keep. It's been a roller coaster up and down, really. So, and it's been a really month and a half. It's been rough for the Giants.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what the Giants would do at the trade deadline, and we'll see towards this weekend where they're at. So hopefully they keep winning. So because we want the Giants
Yeah.
they're up there in the playoffs.
But it's not like Mets is they're a good team, right? So and quietly good team. Like I I was looking at this Soto. He has 24 home runs in the season quietly, right? So I think just because he started so slow, right? So so anyways, that's my take on the Giants weekly update. We'll see what they do um, at the trade deadline or against this weekend series against the Mets.
Yeah, thank you for that update. And yeah, yeah,
Oh, one more thing. One more thing. Teams are calling about uh, Robbie Ray. They're calling. And what do you
I was
think
it.
the Giants should? What do you think the Giants should do in this situation? Even if they're buyers or sellers, like what do you think? That you have one more year on his contract, and teams are calling. Teams are interested on his production.
I wasn't gonna touch on Robbie Ray, but you mentioned it, so here we
Yeah.
are, Armando. So yeah, I've seen that news too. So if you stumble against the Mets this weekend, I can see them flipping Robbie Ray for prospects here. Um, yeah, it's I think the stock of Robbie Ray won't be this high again even next year. So if you have a chance to get some prospect to replenish that cupboards with prospects, then I'll do that in a heartbeat. But let's see what your weekend series with the Mets do. But yeah, I've seen that reports too. So if your Giants stumble, and they might listen to offers for Robbie Ray.
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting because this new regime under Buster Posey, they don't owe him anything, right? This is the old regime. They gave them a 3-year contract, even that he was injured for most of it, right? So coming up, Tommy John. Um, so in one hand, it's like, well, trade him. He's not the future of the Giants. Let's call our AAA pitchers up and see what they can do in the big level, right, in the big leagues. That's one perspective. Another perspective is like keep saying, like I said it earlier, like why tear it down so quickly? Like position yourself for next year and not give away players, especially starting pitchers like a caliber as Robbie Ray.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice for the Blue Jays to take back Robbie Ray?
I heard that too. Like I heard one of the teams that is the Blue Jays are interested, so they will want him back. That'd be crazy if they got him, because
Yeah,
the two pitchers that they a couple of years ago when Gossman and Ray, they were the Blue Jays were only off after those two pitchers, right? So
yeah, and the Blue Jays are looking for front end type of rotation. So Robbie Ray fits that bill too. So we'll see.
do you still have the old his old pants? I wonder.
It's probably in the dryer right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he won a
Anyways,
he won a Cy Young with the Blue Jays, so it'll be fun to get him back, right?
yeah. So I think this is it's gonna say a lot this weekend series, what they're gonna be doing. So, but I'm glad to see Willie Adames, Chapman, and Devers, um, just starting to hit the way they imagine this team to be.
Yeah, it's gonna come around. Like we mentioned, every team hit some bumps on the roads here. So hopefully, your Giants can go over the hump now.
Yeah.
So, all right, thanks Armando for that Giants update for this week. And all right, folks, it's time for your Blue Jays weekly update. So buckle up because there's a lot to get excited about this Toronto Blue Jays team. Let's start with some good news here, Armando. On the injury front, Dalton Varsho is on demand and swinging it well. He's already launched 2 home runs during his rehab stint and is expected to hit the Triple A this weekend. So if all goes well, we could see the Gold Glove center fielder back patrolling the outfield when the Jays take on the Orioles next week. Now, what a run it's been for the Jays, Armando. They just took 2 of 3, like I mentioned, from the Yankees. And let's be honest, the Bronx Bombers were doing their best circus act in the rubber
Oh,
match with 4 errors. I mentioned this already. With that series win, the Jays clinched the season series and locked up the tiebreaker over the Yanks. So that could be huge come October, Armando. But here's the big question, Armando. Do you even mess with the vibes before the trade deadline? Chemistry is off the charts right now, but reports are hitting up that the Jays are eyeing, like we mentioned, DLCs from the Padres, like a contender to contender swap. That is spicy. Keep your eye on Joey Lorforfido here. He could be the odd man out if this deal goes down. So we'll see. We'll monitor that all throughout this weekend and all throughout the week before the trade deadline. Next up for your Toronto Blue Jays, a 4 game set in Detroit. The Tigers are maybe slumping, but they've still got arms that can shut down and a young lineup that loves to swing. But the Jays won today 11-4 and moved to first place in the American League. So let's hope the Jays can stay hot and keep climbing towards that AL East crown. Let's go Blue Jays, and yeah, they're half game up on the Astros for the American League right now. So that's great news for Toronto and the Blue Jays fans.
yeah. To answer your question, I wouldn't interrupt their chemistry right now. So um, the only thing I will add is just the pitching, right? So that doesn't really, but like if you get another outfield or infielder, that just really interrupts right what they have going right now because they're getting a lot of contributions from young veteran players. The players are being called up to fill like from injuries, like they're just getting contribution from all areas, and I just think this team are like a lot. The I think people just thought, oh, they're just a greedy team, like they just fight, but that's not the case. I think I said it like this is a good team. This is a very impressive team offensively. So I think you just say if you can make a trade for a starting rotation or some bullpen arms, this team is for real if they can add that. So very
Yeah,
impressed
that
by the Blue Jays, right? So
Yeah, but we mentioned this a week ago with our last week's episode that if the Blue Jays can't land the front end type rotation that they're looking for, because like I mentioned to you just today, just right now, you need that top 3 rotation for your playoffs. Because come
yeah,
ALDS, you need that top 3, right? So they're looking at a front end rotation, but if they can't land front end, they might be looking at the back end of the bullpen, maybe a closer type like Joan Duran from the Twins. But I heard that the Twins are looking for like a massive package for
oh,
him. So I'm not sure. Yeah,
yeah,
because he's controllable arm, so he's not a rental. So it might take a huge
yeah.
package to
So
land Duran, but it's gonna be worth it if you can land that type of back end of the pen so your closer is not taxed, like Jeff Hoffman can rest and you can flip flop those two relievers to
right,
save your games, right? So that's my take. And like you said, it's hard to like subtract from this lineup if you're trying to like get a bat, right? So
right.
but we'll see what the management does this trade deadline. But it's an all in type of situation now for the Blue Jays.
Right. So But you know what? Like even if they don't add that like starting rotation, Bassett and Barrios, that's a good option with Kevin Gossman. Like that's a good three punch, man. Like especially the way their the offense is playing. Like it's impressive. So definitely, this is a good team. So yeah,
Yeah,
like
everyone's playing their best right now, and you mentioned Bassett, Gossman, and Barrios can hold their fort in the playoffs, but it's that ace type of pitcher that can shut down any team. But right now, I think the Blue Jays doesn't even care who they're facing. Like I mentioned,
no, exactly. Like
they
it's
faced like four all star starting pitchers, and they won all four of
and
those. So
and they're making them look silly. That's just impressive. Holy cow, man. So I saw how bad it was to be swept by the Blue Jays. Like a couple of those games, I didn't even bother watching the ninth inning. I was like, they're not making the comeback. Turn it off. But when they got swept on Sunday night, I was I was debating who will win a 7 game series, the Sandlot or Hard Knocks. Like it's or hardball. I mean, it's hardball. Like that's what I was debating. Who will win a 7 game series? That's how bad it was for me this last weekend.
here I am. I was so excited watching the Giants and the Blue Jays, and when when we got to Logan Webb, you were like done with it.
I was like, holy cow, man. Yeah. It
But
was like when they lost us to Justin Verlander. I was like, okay, like it's fine. We got Logan Webb and Randy, Robbie Ray coming. We'll be fine, right? But oh man, it was it was brutal. So you can't
yeah,
keep the Giants. Like the first time through the rotation, they did great, but when they faced the second time, they got to them, both of them. They just It
yeah.
was great. So
There's
what are
there's
the
something
adjustments
about
that they
the
did? Yeah.
there's something about this Chase team that they never quit. Like today's game, they were being held shut out through 5 innings against Detroit, and
Yeah.
then in the sixth inning they exploded and won 11-4. So yeah, they just keep grinding and grinding. So there's something special about the Jays, and just. As an opposing pitcher, you just tip the cap on them because they put the ball in play.
Oh
Their
yeah.
strike, their first, well, last, if you want to make that opinion in chase rate. So they're not striking out a ton this season. So that's a big help in their lineup right now.
Yeah, I agree with you because I was score watching. I was keeping up. The Giants didn't play today, right? So I was kind of watching, and I was like, "Oh, it's a close game, right? Like a couple through 5 innings." And then I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna put the game on," and I look, it's 12, whatever it was, 12-0. I was like, "Holy cow!" I was looking like after 1 inning, I was like, "Holy cow, man!" Like
Yeah,
it's
it just snowballed. Yeah, it was like 1-0, fifth inning, and then all of a sudden, six, seven, 8 inning, they just exploded for 11 runs.
perfect, man. I love it. So they're playing great. So
Yeah, and that's a wrap for this week. But don't go too far. Next week's episode, like I mentioned, is going to be a big one as Armando and I will break down all the major deadline deals. I hope there are major trade deals. Hand out, and we'll hand out our winners and losers of that trade
yeah, for
deadline, and
sure.
maybe
Yeah.
yeah, and maybe even throw a few hot takes. So make sure you hit that notification bell and subscribe so you don't miss a single pitch of the action. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us. We'll see you next week on Saturday Sliders.